Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. All right. So hope you guys are doing well today. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Speaking of that, has anybody seen the movie, the Mr. Rogers movie that Tom Hanks just did? I've wanted to see it, but we typically are in bed too soon for that stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, happy Tuesday. Oh, good morning. Matt, just heading out on a ride. 1,000 miles for July. Well, that's good. Well, you got 28 of those yesterday. I'll post the relive for that, Matthew. I'll post the video for that in a minute. All right, so last week we kind of talked about procrastination, how awesome you guys are at procrastination. We all are very good at that. Goal setting. And then today it's like, okay, so the next step after setting your goal is, in my opinion, is to take inventory. Okay, and what I mean with that is you have to see the big picture. And whether it's that you want to change your nutrition habits, whether it's you want to change your exercise routine, whether it's you want to get a promotion, like you have to take inventory of where you're at. And so you have to step back and see that big picture and see it from the example of, okay, so how, one example could be from like a food log perspective. Don't, just make your lunch, make breakfast, like everything like you normally do, but just write down, and it doesn't have to be, in the beginning, it doesn't have to be super strict, so let's say that I had eggs with toast and an orange with a cup of milk, cup of coffee, and some orange juice. None of that has been measured. And then for lunch, I had a turkey sandwich with a bag of chips. And then for dinner, I had a steak with some mashed potatoes, gravy, and some mushrooms on top. That's taking inventory. We're starting to create the awareness of like, oh, okay, this is what I'm eating on a daily, this is what I'm eating. Why is that important? Well, it could also be, you could also look at inventory from like a doctor's physical perspective, right? Like a medical physical. So, I went to the doctor and I had my blood work done. Is it better, worse, or the same as last year? If it's better, I must be working in the right direction. If it is worse, I must not be working in the right direction. So those are all pieces that you can look at. That's taking inventory, because it's really hard to change. So why is it important? Is it's really hard to change because if you don't know where you currently are, how do you know how much or how little to change? So what I mean by that is if we use like the nutrition side, for example, and we say, I'm going to start, I need to lose some weight. I don't know what I'm currently eating, but I'm going to eat 1,500 calories. Well, how do you know that that's right? Like that's kind of an arbitrary number. Or even something like the InBody scale that we have here, where we can measure your weight, your muscle mass, your body fat. Matt's a perfect example of this. We had the conversation. He said, I want to lose X amount, I want to weigh X amount of pounds. And then when he came in and did his scan, good morning, Deborah. When he came in and did his scan, I was like, there's no way you could ever weigh that. You have too much muscle mass. So taking that inventory, understanding a logical, like understanding your starting point, understanding where you're currently at, and then understanding how to get to those goals you've previously set. So you can kind of look at it and say like, okay, well, why is it important? I got to know where to start. Good morning, Mother. I got to know where to start. I got to know where, that way I can measure that progress along the way to see if I'm ahead of schedule, behind schedule, in the same ballpark, whatever. So if you don't pay attention to the foods that you're eating, then it's really hard to say, okay, well, I want to start a diet. I've got to, now I've got to make some changes. Well, what changes are you going to start with? Versus if you're taking inventory for 3 or 4 days, like you can really start to see people are very pattern-based people. So you can really start to see, I have the same thing for breakfast every day. Okay, now I'm going to take it one step further. And instead of saying I have eggs and toast, I have 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, and an orange, whatever else I said, a glass of milk and some coffee. So now all of a sudden I'm going to measure that. I have 6 ounces of milk. I have 2 cups of coffee. I have 2 eggs. I have 2 slices of toast. Now we've made that inventory very specific. So now if I wanted to change what I'm having for breakfast, I could say, well, I want to take 1 of those eggs away, 1 of those slices of toast, and the orange juice away, or the orange away. And now you can see, and it's like, there we go. That's the change I'm going to work with for now. What happens? Did anything happen? Great. Progress, whatever. But that's really the easiest way I can think of when explaining, like, to take that inventory, to kind of step back and look and see what you're currently working with. Starting more generic and then getting more and more specific. The more specific you are with your inventory, the more specific you can become in relationship, in regards to your goals, which in turn is going to help to really kind of fine tune that funnel so that you can just absolutely dial in what you're looking to do. Because again, if someone comes in and they say, well, I want to lose weight, and I say, eat less. If you don't know how much you're eating, how do you know how much to eat less? Right? So, or I want to get faster. Well, you got to know how fast you are now. So we do a benchmark and we say, okay, well, for you to run 3 miles, you can do it in X amount of time. Now we can work a system backwards to see how much faster we can make you, or biking, or whatever the situation might be. Same thing in the professional world. You've got to know where your skills are at and what your skills need to be in order to be promoted up the chain of command. And you have to be able to take that inventory and then say, like, okay, this is what I've got. This is where, this is the specific side of what I've got, and how do they work to help me get to my goal? What else do I need to acquire to be able to work towards my goal? So today's big takeaway is inventory. So make sure that you're taking inventory in all aspects of your life. And again, when it comes to the nutrition side, you do it for 3 or 4 days and you can really start to see the patterns. And then the more specific you take that, the more specific you make it, the more you're going to start to see, okay, I need to change this. Because you might say, well, I'm having a bowl of cereal. Well, are you having 3/4 of a cup, which is the serving size? Are you having 1 cup, 1.5 cups, 2 cups? How much milk are you putting in that bowl? Are you adding anything else to it? Like, these are all parts that people have a tendency to forget. So when you take inventory, all of a sudden that starts to show up and you're like, Jesus, I have 2 cups of Cheerios. I thought I was only having 1. And then I'm also having a cup of strawberries on top of that with about 7 ounces of milk. Okay, so what can I change in this? Can I get away with having 1 cup of Cheerios with my strawberries and milk? I don't know. That's something that you have to try. So that's it for today. Nice and short. Today's about taking inventory, about really stepping back and looking at the big picture. I hope you guys have a great day. It's Tuesday. It's sunny out. I think it's supposed to be nice all week. Pretty sure it's supposed to be nice all week. So I hope you guys have the ability to get outside, to get some hiking in, walking in, running in, get on your bike and ride. You know, really just absolutely enjoy the fact that we've got a beautiful summer, and definitely continue to practice our social distancing. A friend of mine's mother, you know, out in Ohio is got COVID, and she's really not doing well, from what I saw yesterday. So, you know, continue to practice your social distancing. If you're out in public, wear a mask. You know, this is the only time in life that you get to act like a superhero and dress up. So be that superhero, wear your mask. You know, if you can't afford a mask, I'm pretty sure that you can. You know, and you know, just be considerate of others, and you know, take that inventory so that we can all start to work towards our 2020 goals that we all had, that a lot of people kind of got off track because of a little coronavirus quarantine life. So if you have any questions, as always, just shoot me a message, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great and awesome Tuesday, July 7th.